bullies at school and such. The message, Satan is your friend. Another message, witchcraft is female empowerment. Also notice the all-seeing eye in her hair. It tells you that this show was sponsored by the occult elite.
Think about what Disney stands for, the Magic Kingdom. The Disney films are programming to indoctrinate children with sorcery and with magic and with superpowers and all these things that incorporate magic and the occult. I'll go over a list right now. Let's read it out. This is just a few. There's so many more probably. You have Fantasia, the Sorcerer's Apprentice.
Fantasia the movie is a magical spell in which the Disney Corporation casts on the entire world in order to create something that is just fiction or magic and makes it real. And even magical rituals, they tend to gain more power the more you do them over and over. So every time someone puts on Fantasia or any Disney movie, it's really just repeating a magical incantation and making it stronger.
Well, these particular cartoons contain messages that are in some cases very difficult to discern and in others very blatant. For example, in Aladdin, there is a line in the film, "Good teens, take off your clothes," which is discernible to those who are really listening for it, but not necessarily if you're not listening for it.
So how's our little Bo doing? Come on, good kids. Take off your clothes. Down.
Wait. But you didn't know that it was there. You wouldn't hear it. The other movie, Beauty and the Beast. There, a nude woman pops up a few times in the background of Beauty and the Beast, filled with subliminal messages. Your kids are watching it, and their mind is maybe not even seeing it, but it's going into their subconscious. Words flashing on the screen over and over. Sex, nudity, filth, all the smut is just coming on the screen. Oh, those movies are harmless. They're filled with subliminal messages. Who knows what your kids are being programmed? Oh, but you know what? I'm sure that it's only just the Disney movies. I'll guarantee you it's the rest of Hollywood probably doing the same thing. And these Disney movies, at first when I was a teenager and somebody showed me this, I thought it was just a couple movies, a couple scenes. But as time has gone on, I've realized that virtually every Disney movie is packed with hundreds of subliminal messages to program the minds of your children. Okay, but then forget the subliminal message. Just the message of the Disney movies is perverted. Even if you just forget the subliminal message. I mean, forget what movies did we bring up? The Little Mermaid. A half animal, half human being. And that's perverted in and of itself. All throughout the Bible, every false god is a half animal, half human being. They're constantly merging of animals and human beings. It's paganism. It's wicked. And yet every Disney movie is pretty much based on the merging of a human being with an animal. It's described in the Bible.
Okay, then they remake them. Why do you think there's remakes of Cinderella all the time? Alice in Wonderland all the time. And people say, why are they remaking it? The original is the best. They remake these films to modernize them for the next generation, for the brainwashing. They redo it because this is the type of programming that has been working for them. Why would they change the programming? The Cinderella programming has been working for them for centuries. They're not going to change the programming and create new programming because look where we're at, exactly where they want us to be. So what do? They remake it. They remake it to modernize it so the next generation can relate to it. Make it more colorful, make it more look modern day. Their pyramids, their all-seeing eyes, all of that stuff is there, part of the predictive programming, the conditioning.
No doubt, the symbolisms are there. And I told you before that these things are being run from the courts. And that's why many of the people who are behind this don't even have a clue what's going on. That's what they've done for many years now. And some of those characters that you see in cartoons and so on.
Transcripts document the close relationship between Walt Disney and FBI Director Edgar Hoover as they correspond about how to bring the FBI's influence into children's TV shows such as the Mickey Mouse Club. These child stars, as well as the children viewing these programs, have been groomed and desensitized by sexual behavior. The correlation between Disney child stars and drug addiction, crime, mental breakdowns, and dissociative behavior are merely products of the victimization they endured while being subject to Hollywood's elite producers and handlers.
Transitioning from Disney to this was easy. I don't know, getting molested for from your 6 to your 14 seems like way harder circumstances, or being physically abused all the time seems like a much more difficult situation than you have paparazzi following you since you were 12. I don't know. I was still being molested when paparazzi were still following me. So it's pretty hard in my mind to think about these big flashlight photographs and everyone thinking they know me and talking about me, but having no idea the type of mistreatment that I was still dealing with at that time, that everyone around me saw and did nothing.
On paper, they're labeled May monsters. Sheriff Judd took it even further Thursday.
They're nasty, nasty people.
Among the 8 child porn arrests is 40-year-old Paul Vale of Davenport. Vale was, get this, a Disney employee working at the Cosmic Rays restaurant. Just wait until you hear what he allegedly had. Brace yourself.
He was a sadomasochist. There was photographs where they had tied up babies in preparation for sexual battery.
Vale faces a whopping 540 counts of child porn. That's 540 felony charges.
Well, why do people like Paul Vale work at Disney? Because that's where the children are. And they want to be around children.
The long line of people who have come through the Disney programming. Why do you think that is? Why do you think Britney Spears and Justin Timberlake, why do you think all these people start at Disney, okay? Then they get pushed out of Disney, go into mainstream and become big stars. Because they get your children to see them as cookie cutter and clean, so that you as a parent are supportive. You say, ooh, look at Britney Spears here. She's a nice girl in the Mickey Mouse Club. The kids become fans, right? Hannah Montana, the kids become fans, and they feel like they're growing up with her. Then they send her out of the Disney programming, into the mainstream media. And her attitude changes. The way she dresses changes. She becomes sexual. Your children are now growing up with her. Now they're getting older. Now they're dressing like that. Now they're following him. Right? They get them to worship these false idols because they can relate to them. They're the same age, right? Ooh, Britney Spears understands me. I grew up watching Britney Spears. Right? Then Britney Spears' programming changes. She goes from being a princess to being a whore. Right? Why do you think that is? Or Miley Cyrus. Right? She goes from being cookie cutter to being a demonic entity on TV, dressing like a demon, pushing sex, pushing drugs in her music and alcohol and all that stuff. Because they get the children to start following these people, and then when they push them out into the mainstream, they'll change the way that they appear. They'll make them more adult, okay? The children are now teens. The parents can't control them anymore.
Another horrible form of indoctrination the Walt Disney Entertainment Company has championed in recent times is the sinister introduction of the failed LGBTQ agenda into their programming content. In a leaked video from an internal meeting with Disney's top executives, this much was exposed.
I don't have to be afraid to, like, let's have these two characters kiss, let's in the background, like, I was just wherever I could, just basically adding queerness.
This is Carrie Burke, who is the president of Disney.
I'm here as a mother of 2 queer children, actually, one transgender child and one pansexual child, and also as a leader. And now we know, as my son texted me this morning, Gen Z is 30 to 40% queer than the other generation's moms, so Disney better get with it.
With the president of Disney's General Entertainment proudly posing as a mother of a catalog of LGBTQ children, it has therefore become more preposterously dangerous than ever to leave your children exposed to any more content from the Disney Corporation.
So Disney is not the beautiful, nice company that you used to know. Lots of things have changed.
So while Disney continues to toe the line of negative programming and indoctrination of innocent children to pervert their young and impressionable minds, we must now more than ever be more vigilant and arm our children with the truth of God's word, packaged in pure, healthy, godly content for children, as this would be their ultimate